Reddit was built to gather people around anything: jokes, hobbies, grief, obsession, and sometimes things that should never have had an audience. Most banned communities disappear for predictable reasons: rule violations, harassment, illegal content, moderation failures. But scattered through archived screenshots and old forum discussions are stories of subreddits that supposedly vanished for stranger reasons. Communities that were not dangerous because of what users posted, but because of what began answering them. The following 3 subreddits have been described in reposts, deleted threads, and fragments of internet folklore. Their existence cannot be independently verified. Their archives are incomplete, but the stories surrounding them have persisted for years, and according to those stories, they were banned for a reason. The first was known as Candleman. At the beginning, it seemed harmless, a small community built around an obscure urban legend that had circulated online since the early 2000s. The Candleman was said to appear only at the edge of vision, never directly in front of you, never when you were looking for it. A tall, thin figure, too still to be human, with a dim, flickering light where its head should have been. Users posted stories about seeing it in kitchens, hallways, car windows, hospital rooms. Most were written like ordinary paranormal encounters: a shadow by the stairs, a reflection in the glass, a shape behind the shower curtain that disappeared when the light came on. But over time, the posts changed. They became less like ghost stories and more like warnings. People claimed the Candleman appeared shortly before death, not always violently, not always dramatically, sometimes before an accident, sometimes before someone simply went to sleep and never woke up. One archived thread mentioned a user named ShiftShadow87, who claimed to have seen the figure in his kitchen on a Tuesday morning. He described wax dripping from the light where the face should have been. He described the way it leaned toward him, slowly as if listening. 3 days later, users claimed they found an obituary that matched his age, location, and first name. Whether it was really him was never confirmed, but after that, the community changed. Candleman became a death watch. Users began posting sightings and waiting. Others would comment beneath them, offering comfort, advice, skepticism, prayers. Some insisted it was a shared delusion. Others believed it was a neurological symptom, a warning generated by the brain before a fatal event. But a smaller group believed the figure was not predicting death. They believed it was choosing. Moderators tried to remove prediction threads, but screenshots continued spreading. Then came the posts about summoning. The exact instructions were deleted quickly and should not be repeated. What matters is that they involved mirrors, candles, and a time most users later refused to name. One account, Last Ember, documented an attempt in real time. The posts began nervously, almost joking. A photo of a bedroom, a mirror turned toward a wall, a comment about the apartment becoming colder. Then another update. I can hear wax dripping, but none of the candles are lit. The final upload was visible for less than a minute. Those who saw it described a dark bedroom corner, a shape too tall for the room, and where the head should have been, a small overexposed bloom of light, like a flame caught too close to the lens. The image vanished, the account stopped posting, and within weeks, Candleman was gone. Archived screenshots list the ban reason differently depending on the capture. Some say self-harm related, some say community safety, some show only the standard message. This community has been banned. The second community was harder to define. On the surface, twin souls appeared to borrow language from online twin flame communities. People looking for connection, meaning, a person who felt familiar in a way ordinary relationships did not. But twin souls was not really about love. It was about convergence. Members described meeting their other half through private messages, old forums, anonymous chat rooms. The conversations felt impossible. The other person knew childhood memories they had never shared. They predicted small events before they happened. They finished sentences before they were typed. At first, users called it fate. Then some began to notice that their twin souls did not behave like people. A user named Nightflower posted about an entity that claimed they had been connected across many lifetimes. It described a life in 17th century France, with names, dates, and places specific enough to search. When Nightflower looked them up, the names appeared in local historical records, but not as lovers, as people executed together after accusations of witchcraft. After that, the messages became more demanding. The entity urged Nightflower to cut off friends who questioned it, to stop trusting the things that kept them grounded, to prepare for convergence. The community encouraged it. Not everyone, but enough. Enough to make the thread feel less like support and more like a congregation. Users began reporting missing time, hours lost after conversations, dreams shared by people in different countries, mirrors that showed movement half a second late. Some woke to find symbols drawn across notebooks, bathroom glass, or old photographs, symbols they did not remember making. The most disturbing posts were not the rituals. They were the predictions. Twin souls knew things before they happened. A promotion, a breakup, a hospital call, the death of a parent. The predictions were often vague enough to dismiss, but sometimes they were precise. And when they came true, belief spread faster than fear. The final week of Twin Souls began with a countdown. A user posted a thread titled, 7 days until we are whole. The post claimed the community would soon be deleted, not banned, deleted, as if the subreddit itself was only a shell that would no longer be needed. Archived copies of the thread disagree on the exact wording, but one line appears in nearly every version. Convergence is not two becoming one. It is one learning which body to keep. 7 days later, Twin Souls disappeared. Former members later surfaced in other forums, describing the same black-eyed figures in mirrors, the same feeling of being watched by someone standing just behind their own reflection. One user wrote that they finally understood what convergence meant. It was not union, it was replacement. The third community was not easy to find, not because it was hidden from Reddit, but because it was hidden inside it. The lobby was reportedly private, accessible only through invite links passed between users like a rumor. Its premise was simple. Members claimed they were visiting the same place in their sleep, a hotel lobby. Not luxurious, not ruined, just ordinary. Chairs arranged in careful rows, a front desk with no staff, elevators that never opened. Carpet with a pattern no one could describe the same way twice. At first, the community felt almost comforting. Users claimed they could meet there while dreaming. They would recognize each other by usernames spoken aloud. They would sit together, talk about their lives, and wake with matching memories. Then the lobby began to change. People appeared who did not belong, figures standing at the edge of the room, too still, too silent, watching the sleepers as if waiting for one of them to notice. The community called them permanent guests. They did not speak. They did not sit. They never left. And over time, users began recognizing them outside the dream. One user reported seeing a permanent guest in a coffee shop wearing the same gray coat from the lobby. Another claimed a woman from the lobby stood across the street from their apartment for 3 nights. But the most repeated story involved a user named Deep Dreamer. They claimed a figure in the lobby appeared wearing their mother's face. The figure told them the people helping them were lying, that the things keeping them grounded were poison, that if they wanted to wake up properly, they needed to stop resisting. When Deep Dreamer woke, they found a note beside the bed. The handwriting looked like their mother's, but their mother lived 500 miles away. As the stories escalated, the creator of the lobby posted a final explanation. They said the lobby was not a shared dream. It was not a hallucination. It was a waiting room. Not for the living, for things that had already left their bodies, but had not accepted it. According to the post, the permanent guests were trying to make room, not by leaving, by bringing others in. The final post in the lobby contained a link to a document. Archived descriptions say it included a ritual meant to help the guests find peace. The details were removed wherever they appeared and should stay that way, but the link spread before the community vanished. Within hours, the lobby was gone. Years later, users still claim to find fragments of that document reposted in strange places. Old paste sites, abandoned blogs, comment sections under unrelated videos. Most dismiss it as recycled internet horror. Some read it, a few try it, and according to the stories, those people dream of a lobby soon after. Rows of chairs, a silent front desk, elevators that never open, and figures standing in the corners, waiting to see who recognizes them. 3 communities, 3 different names for the same mistake. Gathering people around something that wanted attention, a death omen, a false soulmate, a waiting room. Maybe none of them were real. Maybe Candleman was an elaborate hoax. Maybe Twin Souls was a small group feeding each other's delusions. Maybe the lobby was only another internet myth passed around because people enjoy being afraid in the dark. But if the stories are false, they still understood something true. Online communities do not just collect people. They concentrate belief. They turn coincidence into pattern, fear into ritual, loneliness into invitation. And sometimes a place built for strangers becomes a door. So if you ever find a banned subreddit mentioned in an old thread, one with no archive, no moderators, and users who all stopped posting around the same time, do not ask for an invite. Do not search for the instructions. Do not try to prove the story wrong, because some communities are banned to protect users from each other, and some are banned because whatever was inside learned how to leave.